My name is Irina Nevzlin, and I'm the chairman of the board of the Museum of the Jewish People. And I'm very happy to have Sheryl Sandberg with me today. Hello, Sheryl, and thank you for coming.
Thank you for being here. Welcome to Facebook.
So what I want to ask you is, what was it for you growing up? How Jewish was the household? What was your family like when you were small?
I think being Jewish is a really big part of the identity with which I was raised and the home in which I was raised. My parents were very active in the Soviet Jewry movement, and when I was 5 years old, went to the Soviet Union and were arrested and kicked out in what was a scary, scary thing. And when they came home, they koshered their home.
How did they explain to you the whole going to Soviet Union and helping Russian Jews? Like, how would they?
I don't know if they explained it that well when I was 5, but as I got older, I certainly understood it. What I understood is that there were people who were Jews like us, and also other people of other religions or other political persuasions who were not able to live in accordance with what they wanted to do with their traditions, because the Soviet Union was, in the day of, thing, not letting people be who they wanted to be. And that wasn't okay. And I grew up with a very strong sense that the democracy and freedom of speech that I was growing up with was precious, and the values of being Jewish were precious.
What are the most important Jewish values for you?
I think a commitment to making the world better, tzedakah, the tradition of tzedakah, the tradition around families, and the tradition around knowledge. So, the commitment to, you don't go through your life just doing things for yourself. You go through your life giving to others, trying to impact the world and making the world a better place. My parents were always tremendously proud of any person who was Jewish who, whether they won a Nobel Prize or helped at the local food bank, and also tremendously embarrassed when anyone who was Jewish did the wrong thing because they felt that sense of identity. The values of tzedakah, that we are lucky, we are fortunate. They believed they were fortunate to have freedom, so therefore they should be helping those who didn't to get to a place where they could be free. They believed that they were fortunate to be able to practice their religion, that over the course of centuries, Jews had often been persecuted for practicing their religion. So we should practice and be grateful for that freedom. And also the values around family and knowledge, which I think are very deep in the Jewish people. Family. A lot of the Jewish traditions are celebrated in the home with the family. Food obviously being a very big part of it, but really the traditions around we put our family first. My mother always said what her mother said to her, which is you're not going to be nice to your friends and mean to your brother and sister, because your brother and sister are the friends you're going to have your whole life. So even in those teenage years, it was considered very much a Jewish value that we will be good to our family. And knowledge and learning, passion for it. My dad, for 1 year, when I was about 13, we read the portion of the week every week on Saturday mornings. I remember this as a tremendous burden that everyone else was off with their friends Saturday mornings and I had to be home. It was only for an hour. But I look back on that time with my father teaching me what it was to be Jewish as one of the most precious memories I have.
You were a member of BBYO, right?
Uh-huh.
Was it because your parents made you to? Was it because you wanted to? How was that experience?
I liked it. It was a Jewish youth group. I also went to Jewish camp. I went to Camp Coleman, which was the Reform Jewish Movement camp. I think those experiences where you're with other Jewish kids are really important. I grew up in a community, North Miami Beach, Florida, where a lot of my friends were Jewish.
So how Jewish is your home now?
We have Shabbat dinner every week. We light the candles, and my kids mostly light the challah. We celebrate Hanukkah. We do 8 nights, but we do 4 nights of giving and 4 nights of getting presents, because I try to say that giving is as good as getting, and so far that's working. We play dreidel with my sister, and we celebrate the Jewish holidays, from Rosh Hashanah to Yom Kippur to Passover.
Antisemitism? Did you ever experience that, or not in our generation?
Yeah, so that's an interesting topic right now. So I would have said that my parents were very focused on anti-Semitism and had been closer to it. I think my father, there was some in the college admission process, for his generation. I grew up feeling none of it, pretty much ever. And the recent turn of events in Europe have changed that. I've now had conversations with colleagues, friends of mine who work in Europe who are Jewish, where they have felt real anti-Semitism in a way that I almost feel like I'm having the conversations people might have been having before World War II. Really scary.
There was a sense of mission with the Soviet Jewry movement. That was probably one of the biggest events where Jews came together. And then creating of the State of Israel was the same sense of mission of Jews doing things together. So do you think there is a possibility for the sense of mission for Jews to get together?
I think there is. I think it's always, in some ways, easier to have a sense of cohesion when you have a common enemy. But that's not real cohesion, because then it goes away if the enemy recedes. Real cohesion is based on a common objective and common values. And I think the Jewish people have that. The objective of making the world a better place, the objective of peace, tzedakah, of helping others, of learning, of knowledge, all of that, I think burns bright for us and burns bright for other people. And so I think we shouldn't need to find cohesion in common enemies. We can find cohesion in what are positive values. I think we do it in our celebrations, in reminding ourselves that that we pray, in reminding ourselves why. My husband passed away suddenly about 7 months ago, and one of the things we changed in our home is we now say the blessing over the bread before dinner every night. Never did that before, but I think in the face of tragedy really needed to find a way to be grateful, and reminding ourselves that we're grateful for the food we eat is one of those moments. It gives us a moment of gratitude every day. And moments like this, religion's important, right? Because there's no guidepost and there's no playbook. And I think the Jewish religion handles death in a very beautiful way.
If I ask you about the linen, I can't not ask you because I'm a big fan.
It's funny. I went into my career assuming when I graduated from college, more the people above me were men, but it would change over time, and it didn't change. And what happened to me is about 5 years before I wrote the book, I read the data. I started reading the data, and I had that same sigh of relief. It was like, oh my God, I'm not crazy. I'm not crazy. There are systematic biases against women that we need to understand. And as women, we are told not to be ambitious. We are told we can't do it all. And we are not told that we can and should reach for any dream we have, be as ambitious as any man. And that is what's happening. Because if you look around, women have 5% of the top jobs. Still. And so for me, I breathed that same sigh of relief, and then that was one I wanted to share with others. And so we wrote the book and we launched the foundation, and probably the most exciting thing that's happened is really what's happened with the Lean In Foundation. We help women set up Lean In circles, women and men, mostly women, but we welcome any man who wants to come. And it's 10 people, roughly, who meet once a month to be as ambitious as they want to be and support each other. We were hoping for 1,000 circles. We have 25,000, 7 continents, 130 countries, wow. College campuses all over the world, in Israel, all throughout the Middle East, all throughout Europe, Asia, Africa, everywhere. And 80% of the people who join a circle will make a positive change in their life in the first 6 months. And so how does social change happen? And I do believe this also goes back to Jewish values. It happens person by person. Social change does not happen in aggregate to the masses. Social change is what you do today and what I do today. It is someone in Israel reaching across the border to someone in Palestine and saying, we can and should coexist and be peaceful because you are a father and I am a father and we want the best for our children. It is, how are women going to get those top jobs? One woman at a time is going to get a promotion, reach for an ambition she didn't think she could do, and that was the goal for Lean In.
This video is going to be shown to the millions of people, hopefully, who are going to come through the doors virtually or physically of the Museum of the Jewish People. What will be your message to those people?
My message to those people is that I'm proud to be Jewish. I'm grateful for the lessons that my religion taught me. I think those lessons are lessons of tzedakah, of giving to others, and of great tolerance for other views. That the real lessons of Judaism are that I can believe what I want to believe, and I can have deep respect for what other people want to believe, and I can take that belief and channel it to try to make the world a better place.
Thank you very much.
Thank
you.
you.